This is Ray.
And this is Andy.
And this is FDS Local Sports.
How's it going, Ray?
Well, Andy, looks like somebody didn't tidy up after themselves.
Listen, you know, it's hard finding us locker rooms all over the area to visit and record our show. It was a long weekend. I got a little busy. I got a little pressed for time. This is what I came up with.
Kids, there's one thing you have to do at the end of every practice.
Yeah.
Clean up your locker room space. You can't be having a locker room like this.
It smells a little lived in.
Yeah, it definitely stinks in here.
Yeah.
Let's get through this quick so we can get out of here. How about that?
That's a pretty good idea.
All right, so here's a quick news piece for you. This is fresh off the presses. The Moncton Downtown Stadium is going to have a new name, Andy,
Yep.
and it's about to be announced very soon.
Yeah, it's I forget the exact date, but they're going to have sort of a grand opening where everybody's
This weekend coming up. This weekend.
And they're going to announce who purchased the naming rights. I think that's very exciting. I think it's very important too. I think a building having an organization that purchases the naming rights I don't know. I think it takes Moncton to another level. Just my opinion.
It does take it to another level, and First Town Sports does have our bid in, and hopefully we get selected.
Yeah, and it temporarily was the First Town Sports Arena after we left there after our exclusive interview, and I may have left a sign up. It's not there anymore. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah,
they're getting a new name.
Yeah,
Andy, let's talk some AUS football because there was two really good AUS football games this week. The very first game was on Friday night, which was a special night.
Yeah.
It was my birthday. And I was working headlinesman in this game. And Acadia came down, past Loney Bowl champions, to take on this young St. FDS team. And this quarterback that we talked about last week, Bailey Wasdal.
Wasdal, yeah.
All right. He really showed that he's ready for the AUS level. He actually won the game on a 1-yard QB sneak in overtime. Okay? Mm-hmm. It was a slow start in the first quarter.
Yeah.
But throughout the second and third quarter, both teams found their scoring touch. But in the fourth quarter, St. FDS outscored Acadia 14-7 to tie the game and get the game into overtime, where Bailey Wasdal won this game off the 1-yard line.
Yeah, it was really slow. Both quarterbacks really weren't doing much in the. It felt like the entire first half, to be honest. I watched this game back on AUS.TV. I think it is
AUS television.
Yeah, the streaming, and in the first half, I was like, when is something going to happen? So obviously, especially Bailey Wasdal really turned it on in the second half, and he took over the game. I
was impressed. Both these quarterbacks pushed the ball downfield. Hunter Gennard from Acadia went 10 for 22, also threw for a touchdown.
Yep.
Okay. Dale Wright had a remarkable night.
Yes.
Okay. Dale Wright,
he's a
number
machine.
8, running back. This kid is an exciting football player, goes for 142 yards and a touchdown. Late in the fourth quarter, Acadia actually had a chance to get a first down where they could have gone and run out the rest of the clock. Mm-hmm. Dale Wright, the ball was thrown behind him a little bit. He bobbled the ball. It was incomplete. They punted the ball, and St. FDS marched downfield to tie this ball game up.
Yeah, great game, Dale Wright. And there was another extremely impressive running back in this game, Ray, and his name is?
Jordan. I'm going to throw the last name over to you, Andy.
Sokolowchuk.
Sokolowchuk?
Yeah. Yeah, Sokolowchuk.
There you go.
Yeah. To be honest with you, on the AUS stream, the two guys that were calling the game pronounced it at least 18 different ways.
18 different ways.
Yeah, but that
just
was
like we have here.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
but that
like
was my favorite one. But he put up 128 yards of his own and a touchdown as well.
And a touchdown as well.
The running backs in this game were very impressive.
They were both. But they also had the wide receivers, Cordell Hastings with Acadia, and Keon Julian Grant had a huge day with 109 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Defense played a big part in this game, too. I have to give a shout-out to Acadia's and Moncton's own. Bailey Feldman had a great game in this game with 7 tackles. And over on the X side, you had Dylan Bell, who we've talked about as well. He had 12 tackles in this game. So this was a great game. 30-24 was your final score. And what a way for the AUS season to kick off with this type of competitive game in overtime.
And isn't there one more fact about this game and this evening that you wanted to mention? Not only was it your birthday, which I feel like we've been celebrating for about 42 days now, but you were also on the officiating crew for this game.
I was in the officiating crew. I was a headlinesman in this game. We had a great game as a crew. There was only 8 flags in the game. We'd love to take credit for that, but the teams played smart. It was a really well-played game by both these football teams. And just to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek, I want to talk to Bailey Wasdal, the new quarterback for the St. FDS X-Men. And if you stick around to the end of this show, you're going to get a sneak peek into that interview. And if you want to hear the full interview, visit our Facebook page, First Down Sports Podcast, or go to our iTunes or our Podbean account. Again, First Down Sports Podcast, and you'll hear the full interview with Bailey Wasdal. It will be up this week.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Second game of the weekend.
Let's talk about SMU. St. Mary's was visiting Bishops.
All right, making the trip.
And Bishops had a good game. They lost to Mount A in the Mount A home opener, but they looked good. But they were facing a tough St. Mary's team.
St. Mary's
now, just to give you an idea, Matthew Demers, the quarterback for Bishops, he came up, put the first points on the board with a 32-yard touchdown to Nathan Walker, who else, from Bishops. So they got the game off and running. But in the second and third quarter, Caleb Scott, with the St. Mary Huskies quarterback, took over this game, Andy.
For sure.
He put up 26 points in those 2 quarters versus the 4 points scored by Bishops.
Yeah.
And just to talk about his dominance on the football field, Caleb Scott throws for 247 yards and a touchdown and runs the ball for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. This kid is a phenomenal athlete, and we're going to be getting him on our program at some point during the show as well, or season as well.
And all last season, you couldn't, a week couldn't go by unless they were on a bye, obviously, where we didn't talk about Caleb Scott, and I'm pretty sure I guaranteed him as the most outstanding player last year, partway through the season. And he's looking in that form once again, that's for sure.
Dale Wright, there's a number of great candidates that are out there already. And we're only week 2 into the season.
Yeah.
There's lots of weeks to go here. There's going to be, and again, in this conference, in the AUS conference, the great thing about this conference, anybody can win this Loney Bowl this year. Yeah. So it's going to be a really fun season to see who comes out on top this year.
Yep.
Here's your standings after 2 weeks of play. St. Mary's is leading the league 2-0, followed by Mount A and St. FDS at 1-1. Acadia is 0-1. They've only played the 1 game. And Bishops is 0-2 after 2 weeks.
I believe Mounties are only played 1 game. They would be 1-0.
1-0. Yeah, 1-0. Sorry, 1-0 for the Mounties.
Yeah. All right. Well, coming up this weekend, we got SMU visiting Mount A, and I know that you're not reffing in that game, but you will be reffing a local high school game right before that game, so then you'll definitely attend. Right?
First Down Sports will be in the crowd. We'll be partaking in the fun zone.
The fun zone.
The fun zone. We're going to check that out a little bit, have a couple Moose Lights of our own. And, I'm really looking forward to being in this crowd as a fan rather as an official this weekend.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how the Mounties come out of the bye week swinging. Need to see a complete game against SMU or it's not going to happen.
That's right.
Their first game, the entire thing happened in the second half. Need a full game, guys. Let's go Mounties. And then this week, also on Saturday, it's Acadia making the trip to Bishops. So we'll see how they can rebound. So
Acadia is going to be trying to rebound in this game. Bishops had a tough year 1 in this division, and they're going to be looking to change their fortunes in 2018 against the Loney Bowl champs.
They look good, watching them, and they'll put it together.
Yeah.
This is a much, I'd say, more competitive, or the teams are a lot more even this year. It feels so far.
Absolutely.
After only 2 weeks, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All
right. Let's talk about some high school football.
Let's do it.
Some of the high schools had exhibition games on this past weekend, and we're waiting for you high schools to send us information. I know you're going to, but just so you know, exhibition week trophy goes to Odyssey.
Nice.
is I heard from one of the Odyssey staff members.
Okay.
Gave me a little bit of information. Andy, you're going to love this one. They played against St. John High School, and the game ended up tied 21-21 after 5 quarters of play.
Wow.
Yeah, they ran out of, they had extra time than they expected on the field, so they played a 5th quarter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So here's the quarterback for Odyssey this year. His name is Devin Niles. Devin Niles had 3 touchdowns. He threw for 1 and ran for 2. So we can't wait to start talking about the high school games coming up. And Andy, why don't you tell the people what games they can look forward to this weekend?
All right, Friday, let's start with the 10-man division, Ray. We have Matthew Martin visiting Oromocto.
Oromocto, yeah.
Yeah, we have École Sainte-Anne. This is a new team out of Fredericton, and they're going to be facing off against Bernice McNaughton, I believe, here.
Bernice McNaughton here in Moncton.
Here in Moncton. My old school that now suddenly has football and are slowly getting better at it, from what I can tell. MVHS will be visiting Harrison Trumbull High School. Someone's going to be involved in officiating that one.
I'll get to see those 2 teams.
Yep. Sussex will be visiting Kennebecasis Valley High School, and St. Stephen's will be visiting St. Max. So a big lineup of games on Friday.
Big lineup.
And then in the 12-man division, we have Riverview facing off against Fredericton.
That's going to be a great ball game right off the bat to see. Fredericton's always a powerhouse, and to see how the Royals get started this year.
Yeah, and then we have a fun little Saturday going in the 10-man division. Hampton will be visiting Rothsay, and in the 12-man, it's going to be St. John visiting the game we talked about just a little while ago, which is Tantramar Titans. That'll be taking place before the Mount A game.
It will be. It's a 12 o'clock start at Tantramar. They're starting earlier this week so that people that want to catch the Mounties game as well as the Tantramar game have the ability to do so. So it's 12 o'clock start out at Tantramar. This should be a fantastic ball game. Again, 2 hard-hitting schools, St. John Greyhounds. The St. John Greyhounds and the Tantramar Titans. Yep. Should be a great ball game.
Should be a good one. And this guy's white-hatting that game as well.
I'll be in that game as well.
So if you want to make it to the Mount A game on time, once you're done, debrief quick. All right? You don't sit around and talk about the job you did for too long, or you're going to miss a big chunk of the game.
There you go. I'll be there on kickoff. All right, one more item before we get out of here, Andy.
What do you got?
One more item.
Okay.
Every year at this time of year, my favorite thing to talk about is the Mountain Woods Golf Championship, the Men's Night Championship that's going on. But you're finally going to love my update here, Andy.
Okay.
Because for the first time in 3 years, the team of Dunn and Rye have been knocked off. We got knocked out in the quarters by 2 kids, Jeremy Richard and Pierre-Luc Maillet.
I've heard these names a lot.
This was the 3rd week in a row we had to play against them. What's going on with our team captain there that's making us play against these guys 3 weeks in a row? It went right down to the final hole, the final putt for these guys to win this match. They did it. Congratulations. And here at First Down Sports, we want to give you nothing for accomplishing it. Congratulations, guys. That's our show for the week, Andy.
Thank you guys for that victory, because that means I won't have to hear about it again for a year.
We might have a couple more Mountain Woods updates, but it won't be about Team Dun or Rye. That's got to be worth it.
Oh, good.
There you go. Have a great week, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
See you guys.
I think personally, anyway, you just kind of got to remember what you're there for. You got to remember what you're fighting for, and really that just comes down to your teammates and your coaches and everyone that kind of put in all the hard work and the effort to put you in the place where you are. And I think it's happened to me a couple times already in this season. When you face adversity, which comes in every game, no matter what position you're playing on the field, it gets tough at times, and you kind of just have to, come back to the sidelines and take a second to take a breath and not let the moment be too big. And you think about, for me, I like to think about I think about my family back home and everyone supporting me and watching me. And I just kind of think to myself, we gotta start putting some drives together. We gotta start putting some points up, because we're not just gonna coast through this game and kind of let Acadia walk all over us. And and then when we have the drives and we tie the game and it's kind of going back and forth, it is hard to see sometimes when you tie the game and then Acadia comes right back and takes the lead back. But you just gotta go back to work and try to stay in that rhythm and keep doing what you've had success with before. So,
all right, that's our sneak peek with Bailey Wasdal from St. FDS. If you want to hear more on this interview, go to our Facebook page to see our post, or you can go to iTunes, Podbean, or any other podcast app. Search for First Down Sports Podcast, and look, you'll see exclusive interview with Bailey Wasdal. Thanks for listening.